Hi, I'm Darren and welcome to New Factory Classics. Today we are going to cover Lift on Netflix. Now, Cyrus, played by KevinHart, is the leader of a team of thieves. Most teams of thieves are led by the smallest person on the team because they have the easiest chance of getting away. Now, the movie opens with Cyrus and his team trying to steal art at an auction in Venice. And Interpol is on their tail. Interpol, the police group, not the band. Now, the team creates multiple distractions, including fire alarms, setting off guards, and different traps in order to steal N8, a faceless artist, kind of similar to Banksy. If the world was actually scared of someone stealing Banksy, even though nobody knows who he is. The traps that they set are so elaborate, it actually sets off anti-terrorist barriers and all these different things that would cost millions upon millions of dollars for setting it up. But also they can steal a guy who makes NTFs. This is definitely going to make them some money. They also have a secondary team in London that's going to steal a Van Gogh, which is a more realistic art theft, but they're more focused on stealing a guy who makes computer GIFs. Their plan is so convoluted to steal a Van Gogh, to sell the Van Gogh, to legally buy an NTF, kidnap the creator of the NTF, and then flip the NTF. This is definitely written in 2022 or earlier when this was something that people could make money off of, because that has lost more money than the aluminum disaster of the early 1900s. You should definitely look that up. I'm not just pulling stuff out of my hat. Interpol does capture Vincent D'Onofrio's character and forces him to give up where KevinHart's team is located. This is the worst use of Vincent D'Onofrio, the man who plays Kingpin, but we're going to only just see him for about 2 to 3 minutes in the background every hour or so in the film. I don't know why he's in this movie. They could have had anyone else play him, but here's Vincent D'Onofrio just kind of chilling in the background. Interpol approaches KevinHart's team because they need his help. They need to steal a bunch of gold from a terrorist. This terrorist basically puts money on puts on different stocks in order to short them, and then he causes terror attacks on the companies and then makes money because the stocks go down. If you think you've seen this before, it's the main plot line of Casino Royale. As a wanted thief, KevinHart should be incognito, but the entire time he plays KevinHart just as he does in any other movie, and he's loud, ostentatious, and just always as visible as possible, which is something you want to do when you have every major police force in the world coming after you. Now, their plan is to commandeer a billionaire's plane and screw on a bunch of panels that will reflect visibility so that no one can see where they're flying. And as a team just randomly screwing on panels, this shouldn't accidentally cause catastrophic decompressurization. But it's just a movie, so we're supposed to understand that that's not a possibility that could happen in real life at all. Cyrus and his team begin to put together their plan on how to connect 2 planes in the air so they can steal $500 million worth of gold. We get a little montage at this point, which is great because this movie is already over 100 minutes long. Let's take a minute to discuss the villain's plan of shipping $500 million worth of gold in bricks on a public plane. Yeah, there's a secure section in the background where he has people with guns loading it on, but then they leave, and then he just has his own men throughout the plane with these guns that he can build. So he took a public plane where they couldn't bring real guns, but he still wanted to take public for some reason. You're moving $500 million and you're a known terrorist. You're not going to just rent your own plane or even buy your own plane. No, you're going to just ship it on a public plane where anyone can get on and join you. And it's not just the villains that build guns on the plane. Cyrus's team builds a disruptor to where the FAA cannot see the 2 planes when they fuse together. It will just look like a single plane. So they build a device that looks like a bomb, and different people keep going into the same restroom and pulling out parts and building something and putting it above the ceiling. Once again, this wouldn't be an issue if it was a private plane, but they're doing it on a public plane, so where a whole bunch of people are just seeing random people go in, bring stuff, and they're making some sort of device. And then the villains, of course, get kind of pissed off and start building their guns. But This is all what you would need to do if you're, for some reason, transferring $500 million worth of gold on a public plane. Once again, let's discuss what would happen if you started shooting a gun on a plane. If you pop some holes into it, you can have catastrophic decompressurization, and you would think that they would try and avoid shooting it, but they shoot every single bullet that they can, and luckily they just kind of get absorbed into the walls. They don't bounce off, they don't go through, just it's really thick walls that just absorb bullets. Their plan falls apart when the guys with the guns finally kidnap them, take their gold, and get on the secondary plane that was commandeered from the billionaire and are going to deliver the gold to the terrorist. Shout out to Bern Gorman, who only plays villains in these movies. Interpol's unhappy that the billionaire terrorist is about to receive his gold so he can do more terrorist acts, so their plan is to shoot them out of the sky. Despite being told that there are civilians on the plane, not just Cyrus's team, they were actually told that there were other civilians on the plane, Interpol did not care at all, and they were ready to blow these people up. So, shout out to them for sticking by their guns and their missiles. Interpol ends up failing at shooting down the plane, so it crash lands at the billionaire terrorist's house. Cyrus and his team end up secretly recording the billionaire admitting his plan, so Interpol has enough information to arrest him. There turns out to randomly be a whole bunch of cops near an Italian villa, which is exactly where most cops will keep, you know, a bunch of cars just randomly sitting around, but they're there for some reason. Ironically, this movie, just like Casino Royale, ends at an Italian villa. Interpol ends up taking all the gold and leaving, and I guess that means the team ended up poor. Or did they? Flashback to what was actually going on, and they pulled some secret stuff and they stole all the money themselves. And it turns out that Interpol will just give up. Even though there's $500 million missing, they're going to just let it go. Because dang, Cyrus's team is right over there, but nobody knows where it is. That $500 million turns out to be Cyrus's team's biggest lift. And now I have seen it, so you don't have to. Thank you all for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share.